Welcome everyone back to the channel. Flat Tire Dan. Hope you appreciated my rudimentary camera work there. I'm out in the garage today, as you can see, with Triton and our CanAm X3, and I'll get into that in a minute while we're out here today. But hi again, everybody. Welcome to the channel. I think what I'm going to do is real quick. For a long time, I would start out every episode by kind of thanking everyone for tuning in and that kind of stuff. And lately, I've kind of moved that around in the episodes. We obviously are still really grateful, for everybody who's been watching. But I think today I kind of want to start out with that. I think we've got sort of a new influx of different viewers that have found us from the kind of the variety of stuff we've been doing lately. We started with like the camper, which was new to the channel, and then we did the tire review, and these episodes got a lot of attention, and then we did the review of our new F350 and that whole diesel community and stuff. And so we've got it feels like we've got a lot of new viewers. We certainly have a lot of new subscriptions, and so I just wanted to start out by saying thank you really to everyone who's been tuning in. We have fun here, and we really enjoy sharing it with you guys. And then if you are new, and I've said this a few times, take a look around. We try and keep the channel diverse, right? I don't want it to be all about one thing. It's got a vibe, outdoorsy kind of, stuff, but I try and keep it a variety of stuff going on. And I think if you look around, you'll see we're into some pretty cool stuff. And if you like anything we do, then please subscribe to the channel. It does help us reach more viewers like you guys. It's just how we reached you. So again, I want to start it off today by thanking everyone who's been tuning in and has been viewing and subscribing and commenting, which I really enjoy. So please keep those coming. Remind everyone that we do have an Instagram account kind of attached to the channel, flat_tire_Dan. And kind of the reason we created that was so that way if people wanted to communicate with us a little more directly, right? Wanted to, they didn't want to just comment. They had some questions that they really didn't want the whole world to, whatever, And so we created that account, and then we also use it to kind of give you some updates on what's coming up next, that kind of thing. And then if you're new here, this is Triton. This is my dog. He is a huge star on this channel, way more popular than I am, and he does join us for a lot of stuff. So today, on a rainy day in the garage, he's joining us out here. So in the last episode, I mentioned that we were going to do sort of not an entire sort of install video on an accessory we got for our CanAm X3, which you saw in the beginning as well. That is a 2022 CanAm Maverick X3 XRC Turbo RR. Now I know that's a mouthful. Basically, in a nutshell, the Maverick series is CanAm's most capable off-road side-by-side, right? And then the XRC stands for rock crawler. So it's got a lot of undercarriage protection and different gearing and stuff for rock crawling, which is a lot of what we do here in our geography. And then the Turbo RR means that it's the most horsepower motor in the X3 series now that they provide. And so that's what all those letters and stuff mean. It's the 2022. I am going to do a thorough sort of deep dive episode on this soon enough, and I'll kind of talk about that at the end of the episode today. But that's what we're doing. We're working on the X3 today. And so I also mentioned that as far as accessorizing is concerned, especially if, I guess anybody, if you're working with a budget, you kind of have to prioritize what's important to you. Are you looking for function? Are you looking for sort of looks and style? Or a combination of the two? And here on the channel, so far at least, my budget has gone towards the prioritization of function. I did do an episode where I sort of talked about the mirrors we installed on this side-by-side, where they don't come factory like that. Mirrors definitely equal function for me. Some other things that we've put on the machine, and again, we'll get into that later. I've got a light bar, right, for night riding, function. I've got harnesses, like 5-point harnesses in the machine. Again, function. I've got my Milwaukee pack-out boxes, like I have in the dually. Function. And this is just another, sort of a accessory that I got that is focused around function. So what is it, right? Well, it's a product called Rock Knockers. Hopefully you guys can see that, right? So Rock Knockers, what they are is on side-by-sides, especially ones that are 4-wheel drive, which most of them are, when you're off-roading in rocks or mud or dirt or whatever it is you're in, and you're in four-wheel drive, the front tires are spinning as fast as the rear, right? To get you where you're going through whatever conditions you're in. Well, the front tires, like the rear tires, have a tendency to kick up a lot of debris when they're spinning through, any type of loose terrain. And so what these are kind of like a reverse mud flap, right? Like they're installed in front of the rear tire axle, transaxle, U-joint, brake line, a lot of important stuff assembly to protect them from the debris that's being thrown mostly in four-wheel drive, but not only in four-wheel drive, at them from the front tires. They're kind of a mud flap, but in front of the rear wheels. Now, how did I find out about them? I talk about this a lot. I watch a lot of YouTube, and some guys were talking about the fact that the debris that the front tires, by spinning, were shooting at the back hub assemblies and brake lines and stuff, were doing some damage and leaving them stranded on the trail. Not only just damage to that stuff, but they can get just wedged up and stuff where they don't really break anything, but they don't allow stuff to continue to move the way you need it to get back, right? Like on most side-by-sides, you can't disable the rear wheels and just drive in front-wheel drive unless you get into disconnecting like axles or drive shafts and that kind of stuff. And so if something gets lodged up in the back here, you're kind of stuck where you're at until you get it sorted out. So I thought this would be a good idea. I did my research. They seem to be the most well-known brand as far as name recognition, and highly rated and reviewed on YouTube. So that's why I decided to go with this brand. They come packaged nicely in a box. There's not a lot of parts. Like I said, it's not a big install video per se. They kind of just bolt on, but I'll show you kind of through stages of the installation here. Not a big sort of challenging installation, but I feel they're a real important part of protecting my machine, protecting me while I'm out on the trail. I never ride alone, but you never want to get stranded out on the trail. And so this is what I thought would be a good step in that direction. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of work on them a little bit on the machine, probably take some pictures throughout the process, and then I'll jump back in after the installation and kind of let you know how it went, and then maybe talk about some other stuff that I've got on my mind these days. Okay, so here they are installed. Knock Rockers actually has some good installation videos on their website, and I'll give you that address here at the end. So reverse mud flap, right? Now they bolt through, at least on the X3, they bolt through that sway arm fastening bracket, and the bolts are really long, so it was a lot easier to do with my air ratchet and my impact gun, although you can do it all with simple, ratchets and sockets and that kind of stuff. And it's, like I said, it's all explained in the video, but they block the debris flying off that front tire into all this sort of vital stuff in the back. I'll show you that as we go around the back of the machine. So here's all that vital stuff that you're trying to protect. You've got your axle coming out here with axle boots and brake lines, and then stuff can get wedged in between the wheel and the whole suspension, right? And so this reverse mud flap protects you from all that. Pretty easy install, didn't take me long, and I just followed the directions on Knock Rocker's website. Okay, all done. Yes, I have John Deere cornhole boards. So since we spoke last, you saw some pictures of what came in the box, and then a quick video of them installed. And I can tell you the whole thing took me maybe 20 minutes. The installation video on www.k-utv, which is Knock Rocker's website, was very helpful. And I know I could attach that website to this episode, but I do it this way so my daughters know I'm thinking about them. So I'm leaning, like I mentioned, in the early parts of this build, as I accessorize over function over style, right? And I'll eventually get the style. I'm going to probably keep this machine 10 years. But for now, I'm trying to protect the machine, and I'm trying to protect my day on the trail, right? So, and so that's why I'm going this direction. I've got a couple other things in mind along these lines, and then I'll probably get into some lighting and some cool stuff. And I'll obviously share that with you guys as we go along. So I think I'm going to get out riding next weekend. Now I'm going to bring you guys along for that, but the reason I mention it is that probably after that day of riding, and you know, people who know this stuff know, I'm going to go and check all these nuts and bolts again to make sure that they haven't made their way loose while I was out on the trail, especially those bolts that fasten that sway bar. They're kind of important, and I want to make sure that they stay good and tight. I mentioned in a previous episode, and I guess I say that a lot, right? But I know that everybody here doesn't watch every episode. So I mentioned in a previous episode, as we kind of wrap up today's episode, that I get some regular questions, not whether it be through Instagram or in the comments from people, and that I was thinking about doing like an entire episode just to answer those questions. And I decided maybe in these shorter episodes like today, I might just answer them one at a time as we go along. So one of the questions I get pretty regularly is, how long have you been doing this? Like have you been off-roading since you were a little kid? Is this something you got into in your later years? Like what's the deal there? So my story is, I was in 3rd grade, I think. I had some buddies that rode. We had some trails in the neighborhood, and I wanted like a dirt bike, right? And so I asked my parents if they would get me a dirt bike, and their response was straight A's all of 4th grade, and we'll get you a dirt bike. And so I was motivated. And I got straight A's all 4th grade, and they bought me a Kawasaki KV75. I was like 10 years old, right? And ever since then, I've been riding with my buddies. I mean, I don't think I've been out without some type of off-road machine since 4th grade. Now, you know, for me, I think it's a healthy hobby. I mean, it's expensive, I get it, but like as a kid, it motivated me to get straight A's for an entire year. And then it kept me busy, right? It kept me busy with my friends, goofing off and having a good time. And, you know how it goes. Like, if you're not staying busy, maybe you're getting into some stuff you shouldn't. So I've always enjoyed it. I think my parents enjoyed that I was into it. And I haven't stopped. You know, I've been doing it my whole life. I'm in my 50s now, and I don't plan on slowing down anytime soon. So I really enjoy it, you know. And there's all kinds of different dirt bikes and quads and side-by-sides and all kinds of stuff. But as a young kid, it really like helped me bond with some friends that I still know and ride with today, you know, 40 some years later. So anyway, I've been riding a long time, and hopefully that answers that question for everybody. Again, like, thanks everyone. We really do appreciate it. We really do appreciate everybody tuning in. And then if you like the stuff here, look around the channel. If you like what we're doing, then please subscribe to the channel. It just helps us reach more viewers. And as always, stay tuned for more content from Flat Tire Dan. We'll see you.